Ever get that feeling? Like prayer is this thing you should be good at. But then life
It's
happens.
like trying to keep a perfectly organized junk drawer.
Right. You're not alone, though. Turns out even St. Teresa of Avila felt that disconnect.
It's true, and for her, wrestling with that is actually part of what put her on the path to becoming a doctor of the church.
So it wasn't just her thinking about prayer, it's like her life forced her to figure it out.
Exactly. The Carmelite experts, you know the ones we talked to, they kept saying her insights came out of years of personal struggle.
So it wasn't just theory for her. It sounds like she really spent years trying to figure out how to make her prayer life and, well, life work together.
It's incredibly relatable, isn't it?
Understatement of the year. But what really struck me is this wasn't just something she struggled with later, when she was like St. Teresa. It started way earlier.
Oh, absolutely. As a teenager, she had this huge friendship crisis.
Wait, seriously? Even saints had teenage drama.
Right. Makes you realize even she was human, just like us.
I was going to say, okay, but what happened?
Well, the sources are a little fuzzy on the details. Might even been a boy involved. Who knows?
Ooh, juicy.
It's got that air of mystery. But the point is, whatever happened, it really shook her up.
Okay, so even saints have relationship drama. Good to know. But really, it sounds like those early experiences, especially when she was in the convent, were huge for her realizing prayer and just living couldn't be two separate things.
Exactly. It was right there in those experiences, those very human struggles, her understanding of prayer being inseparable from life, that started forming.
So no secret meditation hacks from St. Teresa. Come on, I was hoping for at least one.
Well, in a way, her whole approach to prayer is the secret hack.
Okay.
It's just not the kind we expect. You see, the experts we talked to, they emphasized how St. Teresa, she was all about cultivating virtues, not complicated techniques.
Okay, so she was big on loving your neighbor, but she didn't just mean, like, being nice to the person next door, did she?
No, not at all. It wasn't about surface level stuff. This was about real love, putting it into action.
Easier said than done, right?
Tell me about it. In Foundations, St. Teresa even says you should be ready to give your dinner away if someone needs it more.
Wow, okay. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Giving away my dinner. That's next level.
It really makes you think about what you're holding on to, doesn't it?
Seriously.
And it's not just about material stuff, right? It's that generosity of spirit, which gets us to another biggie for St. Teresa, detachment.
And not just detachment from, like, stuff, although with my online shopping habit, maybe that's a good place as a start. But you're saying for St. Teresa, detaching from our egos was just as important.
Even more so, maybe? It's human nature to cling to our self-importance, to needing to be right. But St. Teresa believed that true prayer, it requires letting go, letting ourselves be humbled before God, yeah, but also, honestly, in front of other people, too.
Right. So humility, that's where I think I get tripped up, assuming I even know what that looks like in real life, not just, like, thinking about it.
Yeah. It's tricky, right? It's not about putting yourself down. That's not what St. Teresa meant. She saw it as seeing yourself honestly the good and the bad and recognizing you need God's grace, like, all the time.
It's encouraging and kind of intimidating, because it's not like she's giving us this vague to-do list of virtues. She gives all these really specific examples of how this actually works in everyday life.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what makes her so relatable.
Right. Like, I read that St. Teresa actually thought being social was a sign of holiness. And I was like, wait, really?
Hold on. She wasn't talking about gossiping, was she?
No. The experts cleared that up right away.
Yeah.
But she meant, like, really engaging with people, in a genuine, open way, even when it's hard. And it made me think, this is a woman who lived in community, like, her whole adult life. She knew how messy relationships could be.
But she also knew how crucial they are to growing spiritually, right?
Oh, okay, but hold on. What about those intense mystical experiences St. Teresa is so famous for? Surely that's different, right? I mean, even she would say those are in a whole other category.
That's where St. Teresa might really surprise you.
You're telling me, like, those incredible mystical experiences, those weren't even the point for her. Even those were about how you live your life, day to day.
You got it. Those Carmelite experts, they were really adamant about this. As amazing as those experiences were, St. Teresa, she was convinced they weren't meant to be, like these isolated events. For her, they were more like catalysts,
Oh, yeah.
for a change that had to show up in your actions, how you treat everybody else.
So not about how close you feel to God, but what that pushes you to actually do.
Exactly. She even wrote that the whole point of those mystical gifts, it was to make us more like Christ crucified.
Whoa. Okay, so you're saying it's not about suffering just to suffer, but it's about expressing that same kind of love, that radical giving love that Jesus showed us. And not just in big ways, but in all those little everyday moments.
Yeah.
That's a pretty high bar.
High bar, for sure. But St. Teresa, she really believed that each of us, in our own way, we're capable of actually living that out. It's about letting those experiences, mystical or not, it's letting them shape us, into people who are more compassionate, more forgiving, more loving in those daily messy encounters with everybody.
This has been, wow, really eye-opening. But I got to ask, if I'm not called to be a cloistered nun, I mean, what does this really look like for me in my normal everyday life?
St. Teresa, she actually talked about this. She said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but she said, don't build castles in the air. Start with the people you live with. Like literally, right there.
She does not let us off easy, does she?
Nope. But that's part of why her message is so powerful. For love, for being present, for helping out in the normal messiness of our lives.
So it's like every interaction from getting coffee with someone at work to like disagreeing with your family. It's all a chance to love a little more, to be there with God's love like right then. So then prayer becomes less about where you are and more about who you're becoming.
You got it. That's the core of what St. Teresa was saying.
This whole conversation's been mind-blowing. I'm walking away looking at things way differently. I have to say, I'm even looking at my interactions, like with that guy who cuts me off in traffic every morning. I'm like, maybe I can see God's love there too. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll be back next time with another fascinating topic.